Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show News with Booze pre-show. That's right, I am here to present something while you guys are filtering in, while we're letting the audience filter in for the News with Booze tonight. Guys, we have a lot to talk about. 12 different stories if I'm not mistaken, so what I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to show off what we got in this month's BAM Horror Box. This is the July BAM Horror Box. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up and let's take a look at what's inside together while we let everyone filter in for the news. So here we go. Now I'm going to reach in and do the items myself. Let me pull the paper out because I do that every single time for sure. Make sure that microphone is not getting blown to death. So I'm going to start off with the pin this time because I felt the pin first. So I think this might be the Poltergeist girl. This might be Carol Ann. I don't know which Poltergeist she'd be from. I'm not sure, but Carol Ann is the first thing that I'm thinking of based on that. So hopefully I'm right. We'll find out at the end of the box, but let's continue on. Oh, there's another card this month. Okay, so they continue on with the cards. Oh, and this is a Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark card. This is a Herald card. So Herald is one of the stories in Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and it is a art card. Now, I don't believe they're doing duos anymore. I think every card is kind of its own one-off thing now that as they come. So there you go. That's Herald from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I know that one to be sure. Let's see what else we got. Oh, we got another scratch-off ticket. Let's do one of the big items. Again, we always get one autographed picture from an actor from a movie, and then we always get a autographed art piece. So let's see if this is the art piece. Ooh, it is the art piece, and this is cool. So, yes, anyone that's a Saw fan will automatically recognize Billy the Puppet. So that's a Billy the Puppet art piece with a bunch of stuff around him having to do with Saw, I'm guessing, or maybe not, I don't know. Haven't dived deep, but that's obviously Billy the Puppet. Not cool, not too bad. That's pretty cool. I was trying to say not too bad and pretty cool, and it came out not cool. All right. And then the next item is, oh, look at this. Oh, very appropriate for me. This is a Pet Sematary print signed by Miko Hughes. Miko Hughes, who is going to be in Dylan's New Nightmare, the film that we are creating here at the Horror Show, the sequel to Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Miko played Dylan Porter in that, and he also played Gage Creed in the original Pet Sematary. So this was signed by Miko Hughes. So there you go. That's pretty cool. That's going to end up in someone's boogie box one of these upcoming months here. So let's see. Okay. Miko Hughes, known for Pet Sematary. That's the thing letting us know who the actor was that signed it. And then the monthly giveaway. Oh, that wasn't us, so don't worry about that. And then there's one other item here. Oh, wow. Huh. Interesting. Wow, that's sturdy. So you got a little tiny Phantasm Ball. Look at that. That's pretty cool. I mean, it's the prongs are a bit oversized, but that's pretty neat. Honestly, what I like about that is this could very well be like an Elseworld version of one of the Tall Man's balls. Like he just does the slightly smaller ball with the slightly larger prongs. So I have a Phantasm Ball in the other room that's more movie size appropriate that I got when I bought the Phantasm Blu-ray collection. So this is definitely going to end up in someone's boogie box. So if any of the boogie box tiers of our patrons are watching this video right now, comment down below. Let me know if you're interested in having this included in your next boogie box. Obviously there's only one, but that's pretty cool. I can send that off. They're like actual blades, dude. Like, you'll cut yourself on this. You got to be very careful with that. Holy crap. But there you go. Phantasm Ball. I knew exactly what that was going to be. So, yeah, I know what everything is here. Let me just make sure I give the artist a proper shout out. So, yes, the celebrity autograph was Miko Hughes, and you can see that there were some other print options here that showed different prints. Okay, the collectible pin. So artist Brian Romero brings us another classic horror pin with these Poltergeist pins, yes. Including the more iconic imagery. This month we have Heather, Clown Doll, and the creepy Granny television pins. Wait, Heather? So is Heather the name of the girl? Obviously that's the girl from Poltergeist, so I was right. But then you had the TV pin and the clown pin here, and then you had the alternate Miko Hughes prints down here, and then artist Alley, this month artist Kevin Flores brought his version of one of our favorite criminal masterminds, Jigsaw. They call him Jigsaw, not Billy the Puppet. What are they doing? Oh god, oh, that's embarrassing. Like, I love the BAM box, but guys, that's not Jigsaw. That's Billy the Puppet. That's one of Jigsaw's representatives. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's embarrassing. Like, I enjoy the BAM box. I am a big BAM box fan, but that's embarrassing. Some people might say, I mean, it's like Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster kind of thing. But that's not Jigsaw. That's Billy the Puppet. Anyway, I mean, it's just this card. Like, this card is literally the only place they got it wrong. It's not like it's in here that it's saying this is Jigsaw. So, it's fine. It's just this little card that's wrong. It's not the print that's wrong. So, and then finally, an artist select card. Who else remembers the late nights caused by the illustrations? This book series growing up. So yes, this was Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and this was a Herald card. So, okay. Got everything correct and found out the stuff I didn't know. So, yeah, there you go, guys. That's going to do it for July's BAM Horror Box. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of all of these items. Go ahead and comment down there. I'm probably watching along with you while I'm waiting for the stream to start. So, thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for the Horror Show news with Booze.
Hey, miss!
I'm Elvira, Mistress of the Dark.
Hi, I'm Kane Hodder.
Hi, I'm Adrienne Barbeau.
This is Fred, the Hammer Williamson.
What's up? I'm Tiffany Shepis.
Hey, this is Miko Hughes.
Hi, this is John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper.
And I'm Bill Mosley.
And spooky nooches, man.
And you're watching The Horror Show.
The Horror Show.
The Horror Show.
The Horror
Of the
Show.
Dark.
The
Hi,
Horror
I'm Kane.
Show.
The Horror Show.
The Horror Show.
The Horror Show.
The Horror Show. It's nothing but joy.
Have you checked the children? Your little messengers.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Welcome back, ghouls and girls, to the Horror Show. Slam a drink, grab a seat, it's news,
everyone? Welcome to... Wait, hang on.
Yep.
Hey, everyone. I'm Cecil Laird.
And I'm Jaime Fuego.
And this is the Horror Show News with
Booze.
That's right.
Salute,
and you can
sir.
tell it's already working because I already screwed up the intro again. Hey, everyone. Can you hear us okay? Everyone's sounding good?
Hopefully
Fuego,
so.
will you go shut that door for us?
Of course
Because
I can, sir.
you know the family's going to be home in the middle of our News with Booze, and they're going to be like, why do we have to listen to Cecil and Fuego talk about bullshit? Anywho, thank you, Dale. I'd much rather watch this than the actual news. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's
all right.
definitely nowhere near as a downer.
Let's say hello to everyone that we see. Tony T, hello everyone. Neuro Demos, hola mi amigos, what's up? And then Ms. Morning 79 in the house. Dale Strunk as usual. Yes, love Dale, appreciate that. Michael M
What's
in
up,
the
Dale?
house. Cinema Mike. Robert the Wolfman.
Ow!
Spook Dev, aka Media Kraken, aka sometimes trolls, sometimes genuinely curious about our thoughts on a movie.
What?
Savannah
No
Christina
shade.
Heffron here in the chat. Scratch Burno earlier on, and I'm just trying to shout out everyone that's been here in a while. So, all right, cool. I think that's pretty much everyone. Forgive me if I missed you. Oh, congrats on over 38K. Oh, thank you. I don't even pay attention to that.
I wasn't
right?
sure if we'd eclipsed
Honestly.
again or not. I know we were like, right there.
I'm sure we did. So thank you, Dale. I appreciate that. But yes, guys, welcome. We are here to do another month's worth of the News with Booze. Now, technically, we were going to try and do the news last week so we could do the review roundup this week. Everything, unfortunately, didn't work out quite well, so we had to push it. So next week, we are going to be doing our July review roundup, where
Live.
all of us are going to be here. Myself, Fuego, Robert, and Marcia are all going to be here at the very least to talk about everything that we watched all through July, which was a lot of stuff, and I'm
Quite a
still
bit.
watching stuff, to be honest with you.
There's a few different television series, lots and lots of Netflix stuff. Lots, and unfortunately the Tomorrow War as well. But we'll get to that.
That was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, Zack.
Don't give me shit. But guys, we are here to talk about the news stories of July, which are of the horror variety, and we've had a lot of stuff come out. So let's go ahead and get started with the first story, which, hang on, I gotta get over here and do this little dancey dance, and ba-bam!
Doing the happy dance.
Fuego, story number one. Hey, Sky, good to see you.
Yeah, so story number one is, check it out, guys. They are apparently doing another version of the Haunted Mansion based on the popular ride at Disneyland. I haven't been to Disneyland since I was very little, probably like 8 or 10 years old, so I have little, if any, recollection of this, but I do have a recollection of the goofy Eddie Murphy film that they previously made.
Mm-hmm.
This was before...
With Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah, this was before... Pirates of the Caribbean and the current Jungle Cruise and all of these different attempts at making their rides into popular film and stuff. But I am most curious about the fact that they have none other than, I just want to get his name proper. It's the dude who directed Bad Hair, which is exclusively available on Hulu, and I really enjoyed it. And even more so than that, the
You're not
fact
talking
that
about lakeith Stanfield?
well, he is the star.
Yes.
So lakeith Stanfield is going to be starring in this with Tiffany Haddish, both hilarious and incredibly talented. But the director of Dear White People and Bad Hair, Justin Simien, this is going to be his first big budget project, and so that's incredibly exciting and intriguing for me. Biggest thing that I'm going to wonder is if it is going to veer into a little bit of potential horror. I mean, because that's the thing.
Has to.
Well, pirates, and I've even heard this new Jungle Cruise, they have their PG-13, like, edgier moments of sorts. And
I
so
keep hearing people
gonna,
compare
are they
Jungle,
gonna lean
Jungle
more so on
Cruise
that?
to The Mummy. The
Okay.
Brendan Fraser The Mummy.
Which I love that. So
Yeah.
I would be down with, yes, I want some humor, but I would like things to be a little creepier and less campier than what we had in the Eddie Murphy movie. And Stanfield and Haddish are both awesome. And Bad Hair is really funny. I haven't seen Dear White People, but I am aware of it in the sphere, so to speak, and I've heard nothing but good things. So they're assembling a very talented team to go about and reimagining this, and I'm really excited.
So, forgive me, but who did lakeith Stanfield play in Get Out? Was he?
He was I believe he was
the guy that was kidnapped at the very beginning of the movie, and
he was one of the guys who was already assimilated into the white people.
But was he the one that was kidnapped at the very beginning of the movie, and then they found the one that was disrupted by the images?
Oh, that's
pictures?
right. That's right, because you see him in that opening scene,
right?
And then
so that
after Daniel
Kaluuya.
Kaluuya. Yeah, I was trying to remember his last name. After he gets there and he's just like, "Yo, what up with his brother? Like, what the hell is going on?" That's lakeith. And then he's also in. And then he's also in. Sorry, is it Sorry for Bothering You or Sorry to Bother You?
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, the call center one,
which is a really weird, creative. And
I never watched it, but it did
movie.
seem like it was going to be funny.
Yeah, so he's great, and Haddish has been in so much stuff. Girl Trip. And,
Tiffany Haddish is having a Haddish renaissance.
Yeah, she's breaking out, dude, and rightfully
really
so.
She's funny.
Yeah. I think she kind of stands above her contemporaries in a lot of ways. I just watched a really great film. The title is eluding me, but it was essentially her as a street musician in New York City that strikes up a friendship with an aging Billy Crystal, who is, he's a screenwriter who is starting to like lose his memory, and so she becomes like a caregiver for him.
That idea.
It was sad, but it also had some sweetness to it, and it showed to me that she has dramatic chops as well. So, yeah. I mean, once again, assembling a very talented crew. What do all of you peeps think in the chat? Do we really need another Haunted Mansion movie, or could this be fun? Yeah.
Everyone's on point. Yes, he was the kidnapped guy. Yes, he was. Thank you. Triborough Gigolo in the chat, along with Anibal Riveros. What's up, Anibal? Good to see you. Vera Morris is here. And Nathan Harstwick has joined as well. So yes, you made it on time. So yes, let's move on though.
Yeah, this sounds cool. I'm for it, and I feel like Disney is improving their track record in a lot of ways with their live action ride adaptations. So indeed.
So moving on to story number 2, that is going to be that. Okay, so
we finally get an update.
I got
on
this. Please, yes. Well, and let me go ahead and, because again, you know more about most of this stuff than I do, but I do know that it was revealed that the new Predator movie, which has almost completed shooting, is called Skull, and it is about...
That's the working title.
The working title, and it is about the first Predator to land on Earth for its game, so to speak. And I love this idea. So many people have said, including Vince DeSanti, friend of not only the channel, but friend of mine, who's taking on a big role in Dylan's New Nightmare behind the scenes. He actually has always pointed out that Predator Dark Fate is a really well done Predator fan film. It is a Predator fan film done in the Dark Ages.
Okay, it's like medieval times.
Yes, I've had it saved. It's one of my. It's like the second video I have saved to watch later of like the 180 that I have saved, and I've just never gotten around to actually watching it. But this sounds like they took a nod from it. They're like, let's do a period piece, but let's do it as the first time a Predator has assaulted Earth. And I am so on board for this idea, Fuego. What about you?
I'm stoked because of the fact that they are going to be hitting a different time period as opposed to, going to another planet or going back to the jungle or whatever the hell it may be.
As long as we hear that score, man.
Yeah. Oh. They have done so many amazing, but before the sale to Disney of Fox and all of those properties, including both Alien and Predator, and then Marvel is going to be making some Predator comics, but they delayed it because they're focusing on the Alien run right now, so they want to kind of space it out a little bit. But
Robert the Wolfman backing me up. Predator Dark Ages was fantastic. So
there you go.
Continue, please.
It's been a long while since I watched it, but
I've never seen it. But
I was very impressed, and I watched that one the same time that it was like Dead End. I think that was the Batman
Dead End,
Alien,
that had Predators. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, which was really cool too. And those that was years before this current fan film.
That was the first. So Batman Dead End, and then the Batman Superman fan film trailer that they made where it was Batman and Superman and Lex Luthor and Joker like all crossing over. Like that was the origins to me of fan films. I'm sure there were some other Star Wars fan films that came
they've been
before.
Making Trekkie and
exactly like
Star
all that
Wars
stuff. But yeah,
so
Batman Dead End was the first fan film I could ever remember seeing
too, from what I remember, and just putting it up there. But no, but Dark Horse did so many terrific period-specific stories with the Predator,
Michael.
because the Predator having come to
I get what you did
so
there.
many different times. I mean, there were like pirate Predator stories. There were other medieval stories that I'm sure the Dark Fate took some inspiration from. So they have explored various bits of humanity over the years interacting with predators, and I'm glad that they're doing this. I'm also stoked that they're taking a cue from the original Alien vs. Predator series, where there was a woman who essentially goes up against the predators and kind of proves herself to them, and there is speculation that it's going to have some of that where she kind of puts on the armor and goes with them, so to speak, or just maybe becomes a part of their culture. I don't know. Dan Trachtenberg is directing this. He did a terrific job with 10 Cloverfield Lane, and I don't know about this going directly to Hulu, because I want to see a Predator movie on the big screen, but then again, Hulu is also doing an Aliens TV series, so that's not going to be available to see on screen. I know this is the way of things, and this is the way, and this is how we're transitioning at this point, but I'm just happy that this film is getting finished, despite the fact that I believe it was in pre-production before the Disney acquisition was official, and so this project has been gestating for a while, and I'm just happy we're going to get it. Please let it be R-rated, for God's sake, but we're getting the vibe that so much of the FX Hulu stuff is going to be like the R-rated territory for the Disney properties from Fox and various other stuff, like American Horror Stories. That's FX, and FX is. I mean, it's all kind of connected now. So this has the potential to be badass, all kinds of badass.
All right. So 997 Andrew. Hey guys, I recently watched all the original Child's Play movies and fell in love. Sorry, I know this is random. No, you know what?
It's
not random, because we recently covered the trailer for the new Chucky series, which, if you watched all the Child's Play movies up to this point, you should be excited about, and we are too.
Indeed.
The thing is, we just have to keep our expectations in check. I think Don Mancini he's very roller coastery. He's very up and down with these Chucky movies, right?
True.
Bride of Chucky was great. Seed of Chucky, ooh, not so great. Curse of Chucky, fun, back to good form. Cult of Chucky, ooh, where are we going here? Now we're Chucky series, and we got to see where he goes from here. But it is still interesting.
And the trailer
Boogeyman 1976 says American Horror Story is horrible. I've only seen the first episode of American Horror Stories, and I'm enjoying it so far. But I can't speak to the rest of it.
It's really a season-by-season thing with me in AHS. Now, I can't speak to the anthology either, because I haven't watched any of these new episodes. I think they've got 3 or 4 out.
I think
this
there's
particular
4
point.
at this point. Yep.
Yeah, and yet it's all differences of opinion too. Like, I love the 3rd season with Coven, and I know you don't really like much of it at all.
Coven wasn't the best.
Murder House is awesome.
I could do without.
Asylum had its moments.
Asylum
that I really
was my
enjoyed.
favorite for a long time.
And
I loved Roanoke. A lot of people hate Roanoke,
and I
but
love Roanoke.
I love Roanoke.
Yeah, same. So.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
I think everyone universally hated Cult, though. I don't think anyone likes revisiting Cult.
I didn't see a lot of people praising it. No, unfortunately not. So.
All right, well, Fuego, let's move on then. We've touched on the Predator, and let's move on to a story number 3, which is that Universal Pictures and Peacock.
I'm surprised you didn't lead with this one, honestly, because people were going.
Look, I'm trying to whet people's appetites for what's coming.
Yeah.
Universal Pictures and Peacock are spending $400 million on an upcoming Exorcist trilogy that is bringing back Ellen Burstyn. So here's what's interesting about that.
Was she on the TV series?
Ellen Burstyn was Reagan's mom in the first Exorcist movie and the second one. Okay. So she was technically in 1 and 2.
So she was in The Heretic, where they brought her back.
Correct.
Because I know that everyone hates on Heretic, the second one, and everyone loves the third one.
Right.
Yeah, which had George
C.
Scott.
And then we need to revisit the series ahead of all this anyway, because they did they did Exorcist the Beginning and Exorcist Dominion, which was 2 versions of the same movie.
And then also remember they had that TV series I would always see on late at night. It was like Exorcist.
Dude, the 2 seasons of the Exorcist TV show were awesome. Marcia and I covered that on the channel.
Or am I thinking of Poltergeist Legacy? Am I getting that
You're thinking
confused?
of Poltergeist Legacy,
because it was like a weird bunch of
the Exorcist TV show was freaking dope. Anywho.
Gina Davis was in it.
Yes, as Reagan. Not anyone knew that she was actually the grown-up Reagan.
You know, there were reports this past week when all this shit was breaking. Gina Davis is like, I have not been approached to be a part of this project yet. So I found that interesting. So who knows? Who knows? But I mean, Ellen Burstyn coming back. This is just one of those things where David Gordon Green is doing this, okay? And
Wait, the guy behind the Halloween reboot?
Yes, this is his next project, so he's making 3 of these next. But
wait, really?
He is doing the same thing that he did with these Halloween movies, where they are retconning Heretic, and they're presumably retconning the TV series.
How does he not bring Linda Blair back then? How does
I don't know.
not bring Linda Blair
maybe
back?
They're still negotiating it.
She's
if
still
that's
out there,
maybe
you know,
if that's
wheeling and dealing at the conventions, dude.
Oh, of course. We've seen it, and we've seen some of her behavior.
Dude, Sky,
and
she does not look 60. I mean, everyone knows she is, but she looks like a very, very, very young 60. So she was a guest at Mad Monster Arizona about 3 years ago, and
a little bit of a diva, I gotta say.
She was a little bit of a diva, but she actually liked me and had me help her up to her room with a bunch of bags that she needed, but she was kind of known as a bit of a hater at the convention, and she was like, she took a shine to me and wanted me to help her, and like, you know, I'm not gonna say what happened when I took stuff into her room, but she didn't slap me, mainly because I just left.
But the point that I was trying to make about David Gordon Green and the Halloween stuff that he has done, they're taking the same approach here, where they're retconning all of the sequels and prequels and different things, and this is going to be a direct sequel to the first one, because that's what David Gordon Green does with like pretty much all of his projects now, and so it's a thing, I guess. But if they're going to drop $400 million on a trilogy, and it's going directly to Peacock, so this is another thing where, I mean, I don't know if it's going to go theatrical and then it's going to get dumped on Peacock, because that's, I mean, they're doing it with the
just rinsed it.
Fucking Boss Baby right now. You know, where it's both in theaters, it's in theaters and it's on Peacock. Now, granted, that's nowhere near as prime of a property. I know there's...
You don't know that, dude. Boss Baby was huge.
Was
it spawned a series, an animated series that has been going since the first movie.
2D or same?
No, it's
same
CG.
CG.
It's like what they did with the Dragons. They did the How to Train Your Dragon, and they had like 7 seasons of a How to Train Your Dragon TV show that went in between the movies. So anyway,
well, so that's where we're at with this, and yeah, they are very confident in this project to be shelling out this sort of dough, and they've seen the fervency about these Halloween films.
Well, dude, and good for Ellen Burstyn for like
I
wanting
would say
to
more
throw
so
her
for
hat
her
back
than,
in the ring.
than
You know
David
what I mean?
Gordon Green.
Yeah,
for
sure.
He's a little hit and miss for me, although I do really...
Horror Professor, thank you so much.
I do really like Your Highness, though. I think that movie is fun.
Michael, I hate that I read that exactly how you wanted me to. Boss Baby 2, Electric's Gaga Goo Goo. Instead of
Boogaloo, instead of Electric Boogaloo.
Instead of Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah.
Too funny.
Indeed.
I have to show Zachary Hates Peacock that was hiding the peacock. She was trying to get cast in Dylan's New Nightmare. Yo, don't hate. Like, I might not have her in the movie, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm not going to have other horror alumni in the movie.
Possibilities.
Oh, Nathan Hartswick. Okay, so if Nathan Hartswick just tossed out $20 without any request, I will follow up my previous statement with, yes, there might be a horror alumni that appears in Dylan's New Nightmare, and yes, they might or might not be named Ron Sloan. Moving right along, though.
And also, Nathan, if you have like a specific question or inquiry about anything with a nice donation like that, toss it away. Toss it away, y'all.
ALC, I am drinking 32 ounce Modelo. Worst beer ever. Look, I don't even drink beer, so I can't quantify, but I will say I'm drinking my 2 shots of vodka, 1 can of pineapple juice, and a splash of cran grape. Fuego, what are you down in today?
You guys know I always have a seltzer of some sort in here. I think it's a Truly or something. But no, I just want to address that Modelo swipe, because Tecate is way worse than Modelo, and Negro Modelo is actually delicious. I mean, it's worse than Schlitz, or I know lots of people have a fondness for PBR, or I mean, Natty Ice? Come on, man. It's not the worst beer ever. Doctor it up with some
Corey.
salt and lime, some tomato. It's good.
What up, Corey? Good to see you. Corey, Robert's got way more brewing than just a new beer, and just you wait until you see what we have brewing in the background. Robert is doing some major work behind the scenes, and I'm trying to help wherever I can, but let's just say that Robert has some big things on the future that the horror show is going to try and assist with in any way, shape, or form that is going to center around brewing. And you guys are going to fucking love what Robert has in store for you guys. So,
he's got the skills,
oh my god. It's Mead, though. All right, well, he revealed that it's Mead.
Yeah, he's...
All right, so it's Mead. He's going to be...
Well,
but we're not talking about exactly how.
Okay, I think Corey thought he was making beer.
He's not making beer, he's making mead. But there's something we have brewing regarding that. Yeah.
Indeed.
All right, so let's move on to the next story, Fuego, and that is going to be that Amazon's I Know What You Did Last Summer series is going to premiere in just like 3 months.
Yeah, it's coming up quick. I mean, we've been reading about this for quite a while. James Wan producing, so he's not directing any episodes or writing, not involved in any capacity, I would imagine, aside from just helping this get made and get out there. I appreciate the first movie, but I've seen peeps say it's better than Scream. It's scarier. It's got a way lower body count. It's nowhere near. It's definitely a little bit eerier, and I do like the main foursome cast, especially SMG. But I have moderate excitement about this, but I'm thinking they're going to be toning it down, pulling it back a little bit, making it a little bit more CW-ish, YA-ishness.
Why? Amazon also does The Boys.
Yeah, but that's...
So why would they need to pull punches for I Know What You Did Last Summer?
They do a lot of tamer tales too, though, so I don't know. I'm not necessarily thinking that this is going to blow me out of the water, and especially since I didn't love the first film and I really didn't like either of those two sequels. It's what I still know, and I'll always know what you did last summer. I think it was based on a book, if I remember correctly, or a short story or something. But Temper, I don't know. How do you feel about this? Are you more excited than me? Because I'm kind of getting the vibe here.
Because I know what happened when Scream was made into a TV series, and it was not entertaining.
It's really in some ways just using a popular IP, and I don't. And
it
also,
is. It's just telling a slasher story using a popular
for
IP.
A full series or
that's what didn't work for
or...
Scream. You can't string along a 2-hour whodunit into a 6 or 8 hour story. Everything becomes thin, and you have to create false circumstances that get people to go down the wrong path that don't make sense. So
and there's often skimming and fodder just to
I'm worried.
Get
the Scream series was bullshit. So unless Amazon does it like The Boys, where they just don't hold back, then I'm worried about it. If they do it like that, then I'm on board for it.
So was the Scream series, was it R-rated in like tone?
No, it was MTV. It was late night MTV, so there was some gore.
It's like
and
hard
stuff.
PG-13.
Yeah. Yeah, it was hard PG-13.
Well, that's what I'm anticipating here, but I guess only time will tell. Really, James Wan producing it is the only thing that piques my interest. So.
To Corey's question, Robert, what's the difference between beer and mead? I don't know the exact differences, other than the fact that mead is apparently
more like wine.
Way older than both wine and beer.
No,
it's like the oldest alcohol.
Well, it's older than
it's
wine?
older than.
I don't know if it's older
they say
than
it's
wine.
older than beer and hard alcohol. Maybe not wine,
yeah.
But it's older than beer and hard alcohol.
It's got more in line with wine than either of the other two.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yes, we'll let Robert talk more in depth on it.
Sky is right though, because Michelle Gellar was put through it in that movie, and especially since she was doing Buffy around the same time, where she always survived. She had some of the tensest moments in that film. That chase scene where she sees what happens with Felipe, and then she's trying to I don't know. That is a very tense sequence in that movie, and she showed that she can be a scared damsel in distress as opposed to an ass kicker, and really sell it too. So I still think she should have been the final girl in comparison with Love Hewitt. That's just me though. Go watch The Ghost Whisperer if you disagree.
All right. Well, from one Amazon series to a different Amazon project.
Yeah, Ben is correct because Geller also gets killed in Scream 2. Spoilers.
Ooh. All right, so this one is that Amazon is already planning a sequel to The Tomorrow War. I enjoyed The Tomorrow War. Like, it was dumb fun. The creatures were really cool.
That was the best part.
Yeah.
Was the creatures.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I love that. I was like, oh, you're going to put that much energy, effort, and money into your antagonistic creatures? Cool. I'm about it. Like, yes, the actual human story was pretty stupid and pretty
very much
convenient.
So. And that was what I...
But it was still enjoyable.
Barely an inconvenience.
Yeah,
and if you watched the pitch meeting about it,
was great.
dude.
It was great, but it was still enjoyable for me.
Yeah,
So.
I had fun, but I definitely didn't like it. You know, this was actually supposed to be a theatrical film last December, and then they delayed it, and then they delayed it again, and then in turn they were just like, man, let's just sell it to Amazon. Why the hell not? But it was the #1 streaming movie in the world on any platform for at least a couple of weeks. So, you know, response is good, and they immediately greenlight. Makes sense. Bring back Chris Pratt, and, you know, stop hating on him for some of his personal views that he doesn't clout like a lot of other people on either side of the, you know, political or social fence, because there were some people saying don't watch this because, you know, because of his faith, so to speak, and I don't think that's necessarily fair because this film had nothing to do with that. It was dumb. We're going to talk about it more in the review roundup next week, so stay tuned for that. But yeah.
So then, from that point, I mean,
this sequel makes sense, though, right?
Yes, it absolutely does. It absolutely does, and it did well, from what I understand. As silly of a movie it was, but it was like Independence Day. It was no less dumb than Independence Day in some aspects. So.
In some storytelling aspects, but I still hold that film in such higher sanctity in comparison.
I do too. All right, next story. Zack Snyder is officially developing a sequel to Army of the Dead for Netflix.
I'm looking at the photo.
Oh,
is that the...
Wait. Oh, did I not? I didn't update the photo for the... Okay,
you
sorry.
changed it and then you changed it back to Tomorrow War.
No, it's just I didn't update the actual photo for the Zack Snyder thing.
Oh, it's fine.
My bad, guys.
Yeah, no worries. You know, these stories...
Go ahead. I'm going to add it in now. Because
these stories make sense being right next to each other because they were fun and dumb. I mean, well, I greatly, in just about every capacity, preferred Army of the Dead, but I've seen some people say that these are in the same kind of sector. So I don't know. It is what it is. It was relatively successful for Netflix, and obviously they're all in with the fact that there is that prequel series with our lockpicker kid that they have coming out that I believe they dropped some sort of teaser first look at.
Fixed it. How do you like that?
SDCC.
It's perfect,
yes.
isn't it? It's like
yes.
I never made an issue.
And then there's also the animated series, and then so yes, I believe it was a foregone conclusion that we were going to see a sequel to Army of the Dead with all of the other projects. They're trying to franchise the fuck out of this dude, so, you know.
Franchise the fuck out of it.
Yeah, good for Zack Snyder, though. What did you guys think about Army of the Dead? Is it a little more highbrow than the Tomorrow War, or am I completely wrong?
You're completely wrong. It's not that much more highbrow.
They're cut from the same cloth, right?
All right, so moving right along, mostly because I already did so. All right, well, you know what? Let me give at least my opinion on the last thing. So, I'm excited about it. I enjoyed Army of the Dead. I thought it was dumb really fun. We had a good time with it. I actually felt for the zombies. Like, I know in retrospect I was probably a little more over the top than I should have been about how much I felt for the zombies. But the fact that they made me feel for the zombies at all made me impressed, and I still remain impressed. So if Zack Snyder can keep up the level of entertainment for my level of involvement, which was next to none, right? We saw an early screening, didn't we?
We saw it when it was released in theaters, like what, a week before?
A week before Netflix. That's right.
Like that. And I'm glad that I saw it.
I'm glad I saw it on the big screen too. Like, I'm
Maybe
happy to support that project.
Maybe I would have enjoyed the Tomorrow War more if I had the chance to see
I
it
bet
on
we
a big
would
screen.
have. I'll bet we would have. Yeah. So having that as an option is great, but ultimately, I don't mind Zack Snyder. I'm excited about Zack Snyder getting a chance to dive further into this property that he's created now.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that's really good that you put these two stories right together is what pushed Army of the Dead ahead for me significantly than the Tomorrow War is they try some significant heartstring pulling in both of these movies.
Yes, Nathan,
and I felt they were significantly more successful with a father-daughter dynamic in Army of the Dead in comparison with what they tried and I believe were relatively unsuccessful with in the Tomorrow War.
Mm-hmm.
So
indeed,
daddy-daughter dynamic. Say that 10 times fast.
Exactly. All right, so now we move on.
The Day After Tomorrow War, Michael Lambert. That's pretty funny.
So this is a separate story that hasn't been reported on anywhere because we got access to an anonymous source that told us that American Horror Stories began and will end with the Murder House. So the first episode of American Horror Stories took place at Murder House, and the last episode of American Horror Stories is going to take place at the Murder House.
Ooh, that's an inside scoop.
Inside scoop. Can't say how we got it. We don't reveal our sources here at the Horror Show channel,
well,
but
we can't because they probably signed in, non-disclosures.
We're not even going to say anything at all outside of the fact that our sources are not going to be revealed. But yes, American Horror Stories is going to end at Murder House just like it began at Murder House. So
I'm trying to remember if I saw anybody else leaking that, or if that was just maybe speculation at one point that they were going to bookend it.
Might have been.
Because for a lot of people, that's their favorite season. You know, it's the first one, Murder House. They set such a precedence, and then...
Well, and they set up a new precedent at the beginning in the first episode of Stories with the Murder House. So
which I have yet to watch, because you watched the
I watched the first episode.
Because it's a two-parter, right?
No.
With the gay... Yeah, it's a two-parter.
Oh, it is?
Unless you just watched them back-to-back with the gay couple.
I just might not have finished it. No. I just might not have finished it yet. Nope. Okay. All right. Well, crap. Then I need to finish that.
And it makes sense too.
We're excited about it.
It really truly does. So
anonymous source, shut up, Robert. All right, so
just because Robert is part of the
Robert,
show,
you know, so you can't frickin' you can't be like anonymous source. I know who it is.
Hardy hard, yes, because I do as well. But
all right, yeah, great. Okay, we're all in the know. Good for us all. All right, so the next story we're going to be talking about is someone close to Fuego's heart.
Yes. Basically, the new heir apparent of Cy King adaptations, but he's been taking a break. You know, he's curating the.
James Tynion IV is known as a King adapter.
No, Mike Flanagan.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the interesting thing. You're going to talk about it from the Flanagan angle.
Do you know anything about this comic?
I know tons about it. I have every issue.
I know donuts about
I have every issue of Something's Killing the Children.
So let it fly then. I was about to hit a synopsis, but you can give your...
No, so Something's Killing the Children, I will give you the direct, without looking up a synopsis. I will look up a comic cover so you guys see, but you see part of the artwork over here. So, yes, this is...
that's grisly.
It's awesome. So... Something's Killing the Children is about a school where children are suddenly getting murdered in the woods surrounding the school. And it's because there are monsters in the world that specifically hunt down children. And
yes, there are.
There is
of the real world and other world.
Well, but they're talking about actual monsters that eat them. Like literally chomp them. They're huge monsters that stalk them in the woods. They're completely silent. They're all black, but they have multiple. They have multiple eyes.
Mine too.
And they are stalked by members of this society that this girl right here is a part of. So she shows up to hunt the creatures and try and stop it. And it turns out that she's part of a whole cabal of people that are creature hunters, but they don't care about any humans that get in their way. Normally, they'll just kill anyone that gets in their way, but she's trying to be better than that. So this is, if I'm not mistaken, James Tynion IV, who wrote the comic, won the Eisner Award just about 3 days ago.
Yeah,
and I believe it was for this series.
It was. It said in the Bloody Disgusting article that the Eisner winning series, and so Flanagan was a big fan, and this is going to be.
It's a phenomenal series,
and it's going to be another Netflix thing too.
It was supposed to end after the first two story arcs, after the first 12 or 13 issues. It did so well that he's like, okay, I'll continue it. And now he's going back and telling the origin story of this particular character. It tells how she got into this cabal and I don't want to ruin it, but it's
sounds
so
rad.
freaking good, dude.
Yeah.
It is so good.
It seems like everybody in the chat is saying either it sounds awesome and they got to seek it out. And
Vera Morris,
like,
I have the first issue. It is dope. Yep. Dude, it is great. It is super great. Can you blend cinnamon? Oh man, Corey and Robert are gonna get into it. Corey, don't you worry. We have all kinds of plans for all kinds of flavors. Robert and I literally had an hour and a half long meeting just like 2 Sundays ago. About the mead. Yeah, so yes, so this with Mike Flanagan at the helm and James Tynion still on board to help. James Tynion, by the way,
what else has he done? Anything?
Oh my god, he's huge in DC. He is basically the Scott Snyder surrogate. So whenever Scott Snyder stepped away from the main Batman book, James Tynion would step in to write the filler issue. And then he also did so you know the Court of Owls? Of course. He did the separate Court of Owls book about that one particular guy that was killed and brought back that tried to be a good owl. Okay. So he wrote all of that. He's also currently writing a book called the house like the normal house on the lake or something like that, and it is a 10 to 12 issue series where a group of friends are gathered at this lake house, and while they're gathered there by this friend. They don't know why, but he's like, I just want you all here. And then the first night they're there, it turns out that the rest of the world burns. Like literally the rest of the world catches fire, missiles drop, everyone dies.
So it's
and
a post-apocalyptic story in that regard.
But it's about them in this one house by the lake, completely untouched. And their friend that gathered them knows more about it than he lets on. That's why he assembled them all. There were only 2 issues into this 10 or 12 issue series, and it's so fucking good, dude. James Tynion IV writes such good stuff. So this is going to be outstanding based on the source material, let alone the fact that Mike Flanagan is getting his grubby little fingers all over it.
Yeah, and I was about to say, I mean, between the 2 Haunting series, and then he's got
What Up Everything Horror?
Then he has the upcoming Kristopher Pike, the Midnight Club that a lot of people are excited about. So he is forming such a... I'm trying to remember if he signed the first look deal, which is why pretty much everything.
Don't worry about it, Corey. No, ask all the questions about the Mead you want, dude. I'm not playing Mead.
Yeah, and it's
police.
in the chat, so
I'm not playing Mead police, Corey. Please, talk to him all you want.
Please. Everything Horror says, "What's up, guys? This sounds very interesting," and I'm assuming jumped in with you talking about his James's other books.
I never pulled the cover for you guys, so something is killing the children.
Something's killing the children.
It's such cool artwork. It is such a hardcore independent book.
With
that's
this being his own independent property, so it's a Boom book. Boom Studios?
Boom Studios, yeah.
Okay.
So, oh god, I'm struggling to try and decide what I want to pull up.
That one in the pool of blood, or that one over there with all the heads.
Alright, so I'm going to just save a few things and then pull them up for you guys.
So is that our main girl that we see?
Yeah, she's the main
one
bad
from
girl.
the cabal going on.
And then I'm going to show them the creature too. Like, the main version of the creature.
One of them?
Yeah, one of them, exactly.
That's kind of...
Oh, there's so... Yeah,
so she's wearing this wacky mask, huh?
It's not a wacky mask. It's what they all wear. And in this current story arc, she's just gotten it, but it's a blank mask. You don't get the mouth until you've passed all the tests.
Oh. So it's like, getting your belts in.
Exactly. It's like black belt and stuff like that. Exactly. So, all right. Cool. So I'm going to pull up a few of these real quick just so you guys can see.
I may have to borrow these books from you.
Dude, they're only up to issue like 13 at this point.
So no trades available yet?
Two trades so far.
Okay.
Wow, did I not? Where did I save them? Where did I just save them? New trailers. Okay, hang on. Let me pull up new trailers.
We're gonna get there, guys.
Hang on, I'm gonna get it.
All right.
I'm gonna get it. Here we go. All right, so
yes, Ben, I did see the fact that Emma was able to get Mike Flanagan on Spooky Astronauts. That was pretty dope.
What?
Yeah, that shows how
fucking Emma got Mike Flanagan. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Now, it wasn't a direct thing. Like, he filmed some stuff and then sent it over to her, and she
awesome.
kind of spliced in. Yeah, I was very impressed. Shows how hard she's worked and far she's come.
Yeah, that's Something Is Killing the Children. That's one of the main covers, again, of our main girl. And then this is another cover featuring her.
Yeah. Very iconic look, obviously.
Yeah, very iconic look. And she's badass. She hunts these creatures and myrtleizes them on a regular basis. And then it gets a little saucy at times because she does not sustain damage. She sustains damage the whole way through. Look at that. She's like the Batman of this universe.
What an attention-grabbing title, too, man. I mean, sometimes just something that
dope.
simple is...
Tell me you guys aren't attracted by that artwork and you don't want to go seek out this series immediately. It's so fucking dope. It's one of the only reasons I continue to collect comics on a regular basis. Since Superman died in 1993, I've collected comics on a regular basis, and the comics that mean the most to me now are not DC, they're not Marvel, it's all the independent books. Yeah, because that's where all the great shit is.
And that's because they're also creative-owned properties typically, right? If it's Boom or IDW or, Image, and that's where these people...
Oh, Vera's familiar. Vera's familiar.
They're telling their own stories.
I think Lulu Wilson should be slaughtered. She was good in Becky and Annabelle. Wow, good for you, Vera. All right.
Dang.
Lulu Wilson could end up being like the new Chloe Grace Moretz, where she's like the badass young girl sort of thing. Sold, Horror Professor. Yeah, I'm down. Hey guys, Chris Bethel, what's up?
Chris Bethel, yo!
I'm glad you guys are down. Yeah, absolutely seek out Something is Killing the Children. This is going to be so fucking good, this series.
I'm glad you were more aware of this, but I can't say I'm shocked in any capacity.
Dude, I will loan you the books. Something is Killing the Children is just
in comparison of horror comics.
Horror comics, I know what's what for sure. I will take that credit. All right, so next story, Fuego, is...
I'm not sure about this one.
Okay.
I'm really not sure about this one.
Well, but here's the thing. We know it's a fact, and we know that friend of the show, David Howard Thornton, plays a zombie in this movie. You didn't know that? That was so genuine. Did you guys hear it? Roll that back. Oh my God. Any of you guys watching live, roll that back. That was so genuine.
I had no idea. I was like...
That was so awesome.
Yeah, I had no idea. So in a small little cameo role, though, right?
I don't know if it's small or not. He confirmed that he plays a zombie.
So
because I posted about this on Facebook.
Like a Bub or Bud or whatever.
He's not. He's not that.
He's not. Okay.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know for sure. But I posted about it on Facebook, and I was like, this could either be really awesome or really bad. If it's real. And then David Howard Thornton commented himself, oh, it's real. And then someone commented underneath, oh, Jason Smith, I think, said, didn't you play a zombie in this? And David said yes. So David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown in Terrifier, is playing a zombie in Night of the Living Dead 2, starring all of these folks from the original Day of the Dead. Now, these are the original folks that escaped the mall.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, not the mall. No.
Day of the Dead. Sorry, the bunker. They escaped the bunker. My bad.
But that's where, the choice of title is what I'm really, really not about this. If it's Survivors from Day of the Dead, why not call it Day of the Dead 2? Probably so as not to get it confused with the fact that we have already
a bunch of LOLs.
We have already remade Day of the Dead. I think they've remade Day of the Dead either once or twice, but then there's also the new sci-fi series, which was previewed at SDCC, that is coming out. So, and also, is Night of the Living Dead public domain at this point?
Yeah, Night of the Living Dead's been public domain forever.
It has to be, which is why we've got so many.
That's why so many people are doing Night of the Living Dead 2. Yeah.
There's an animated version of Night of the Living Dead that is being made currently. So. I'm excited about these three peeps involved. I have to just bring up the story real quick and get a little bit more clarification because...
They leave the island. They're forced to leave the island that they've sought refuge at for all this time.
I'm just curious, like, who all is, from a creative standpoint. Three familiar faces, okay, yada yada. We know that. Like, is anyone of note directing it? Is this just going to be another... one of those horrible direct-to-video connective either remakes or reimaginings or whatever, because aside...
I don't know.
Because aside from Dawn of the Dead remake by... supposed to be... Aside from Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, I haven't really liked any of the... Well, actually, how can I say that? Tom Savini's remake of Night of the Living Dead is actually really, really good too.
Which we have to complete as a Patreon request.
Yeah, which I just rewatched for the first time in a while, and... sounds like an unofficial sequel to Day of the Dead, doesn't it? The very, very few details involved about this one. Hey, it's cool to see some star power returning, or at least familiar faces, but this is one that I think is going to be like a full moon caliber of schlock, and nothing particularly memorable. They're just going to market this based on the fact that these peeps are coming back. So I'm not excited, but I'll still watch it because I've seen all of the entries in this series, even the weird unofficial remakes and the colorizations of the original, and I've watched all this shit at this particular point. I do really like the series. I've read a lot of the John Russo comics that he did as well, which were fun. I still have yet to read The Living Dead, which was the finishing of that script that George was working on before he died, and this other guy came in and
that long book,
finished writing it. Yeah, I bought a copy of it too, and I think I have it on Audible.
We have it
as
on
well.
Audible, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I
but-
have it on Audible. All right, so let's move on to story number 10, Fuego.
Yes.
Another Stephen King story.
Another Stephen King story, but this is veering very much so into what I was talking with you recently. I've been wanting to do
Audio
something.
drama.
Yes, audio dramas are coming back. They're a big thing, and they were especially big in the 80s and the 90s especially. I listened to so many of those like Star Wars audio dramas where you have sound effects and you have multiple actors and all this. They have recently they did a Lock and Key one a couple years ago, which was pretty solid. There's the Sandman one that they have the second part of. That's
Good
about
Mythical Morning started a podcast called Ronstadt.
I've heard,
and it's already in the top 15
I've heard them mention.
podcasts of the whole world.
But this is the funny thing is scripted podcasts are now they don't call them audio dramas anymore. They call them scripted podcasts.
Yep.
I'm assuming it's because of the recognizability of the term podcast now. So you just want people to. Betty Alvarez actually curated one that it's weird because you watch it on Apple TV, but it's really just a bunch of calls. It's called Calls. Called Calls, yes, not Cold Calls, not to be confused. But yeah, it's entitled Calls, and it had a slew of big-time actors, but they were all just doing voice acting. And so, maybe based on some of the success of the Losers Club, which is a podcast that was recently acquired by Bloody Disgusting, they did their own unofficial season 3 of Castle Rock, the TV series, the Hulu series that a lot of people had major issues with, myself included. But they are now turning Strawberry Spring, which is a serial killer on campus situation where this guy, when he was in college, he had initially heard about this person who was going around, killing. I'm trying to remember if it was girls specifically or what the deal was, but the killer was never caught, and then a new investigation begins. It's not one of my favorites from Night Shift. I'm gonna be honest. I always felt it was one of the weaker entries. It was this and I Know What You Need, or I Have What You Need, which was another on campus with this kind of stalker guy who had been after this girl since they were in grade school, as the full reveal begins. But I think the biggest takeaway from this is that scripted podcasting, these audio dramas, as I used to, belovedly describe them as, they are seeing a significant resurgence if something like this is being put together. Even if I'm not that stoked about this particular story being adapted, anything new King related at least tickles my fancy a little bit. What's your thoughts on audio dramas, man? Or the scripted podcasts? Do you get much into them at all?
I don't get as I listened to the first 5 episodes of Ronstadt. I will eventually get around to finishing it, but I'm going to listen to my other podcasts first, and when I run out of things to listen to, then I'll go back to Ronstadt.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's about a clairvoyant guy living the day-to-day and taking on the weird cases that arrive at the police force and stuff like that. It's interesting enough, and I think it's a fun idea, and I think being a audiobook listener for certain things, I can see the value in it. I mean,
also working on something kind of similar yourself right now?
Yeah, exactly. Working on something kind of similar, creating the audio basis of an actual, scene that people are going to walk through is fun and challenging and can be really cool. And yeah, we had to basically create an audio scene for an upcoming video comedy sketch that we have doing, or that we're going to be doing on the channel. And that was a big factor in the creation process. So it can add a whole bunch if it's done right. So I think the idea of them doing a scripted podcast of any idea of Stephen King's, I think it's worth it, because you don't have to worry about people getting old on camera if it's a long-term, project, stuff like that. Like, there's a lot you could do with King in the audio podcast form.
Well, and they have before. I mean, many years ago, they did audio dramas for the BBC of both Pet Sematary and Salem's Lot, and they're tough to find, but they performed relatively well from what I understand, especially overseas. And so I'm trying to read what Chris was saying right there. Yeah, it's most definitely cheaper to do a scripted podcast than to film something, and I wasn't really pointing in that direction, Chris. I was saying more so that I guess my only gripe is the fact that I just missed an old audio drama term and whatever, but I am stoked to see their resurgence, and even though I didn't love it, Castle Rock Season 3, if you were a fan of Season 1 and Season 2 of the show, you need to check it out. The Torrance girl shows back up from the show from Season 1, and she's opened up her little bed and breakfast. I have a full kind of review giving some initial impressions about it. It was a Tale to Stephen King episode from a couple weeks, month or two ago, whatever it was. So check that out, and I am definitely going to listen to this. And if it is a series of adaptations for Night Shift, I'm all for it. I love audio drama, aka scripted podcasts. So the more the merrier, and I'm really, really happy to see that they're becoming so popular once again.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm down for it too, as long as they're done in the high production value side of things. All right, so next story, Fuego, is about Lovecraft Country and the fact that we are never going to be getting any more ever.
Yeah. Even though they were in pre-production and they had all these ideas,
yeah, they started a bunch of work on
some
season
spec scripts and stuff, so they were all set to do it. Biggest thing that I heard, maybe the new stuff they were working on wasn't as strong material-wise, because it was them veering from the book, because they adapted the whole book in Season 1. And I don't know, despite the fact that it was nominated for so many Emmys recently, I mean, tons and tons of them, from the acting, from best ensemble. I don't know all of the different categories, but I think it got like 11 or 13 nominations, something crazy like that. And so it was a very well received show. You and I were quite impressed with it in a lot of aspects. And so this is a bummer, but I would have enjoyed more, but I don't know if I necessarily needed more.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, it was fun and it was good for what it was, but I didn't necessarily need to continue living in that world, because it was a lot of focusing. It was
a rough world too,
yeah,
and
exactly.
Them is trying to do a similar thing, albeit more of a grounded, sort of just the evils of man. As
and I
opposed
hear
to,
more of a manipulative way too.
Yeah, there were a lot of friends of color. Shout out to Chauncey K. Robinson, who really hated. Not the approach on this show specifically, but what them and some of these other much more sensationalized sort of just nasty race relations, and Antebellum did it as well, which I did watch, and I was not very impressed with, despite Janelle Monáe giving a really solid performance. And so this is a bummer, but it's not something that's gonna ruin my day or my month or anything. We still have a lot of really cool episodes from this first season.
Look,
the skin peeling.
We have so much to keep up on. I don't mind if we lose a show here and there.
It's too much.
All right, and the final story, Fuego, which is funny because, and I have
this is all on you
visual aid in the next room here.
No, you actually have it.
Go ahead, read the story. I don't have it yet, but it's
So, I'm not as huge of a Hatchet fan as Cecil, but I have definitely seen, I think, all of these films, because they were the first three, and then there was the fourth, the Victor Crowley
Victor
film,
Crowley.
Right? Yeah.
So, Hatchet has
trying to double check.
Had a comic adaptation before. We have reviewed it on the channel, and I have been waiting for certain things in order to review the next batch. So there is a new batch of Hatchet comics to review, and so here's the thing: Hatchet Vengeance #1 came out in 2018, and then #2 also came out in 2018.
So is this the same time as the Crowley movie?
It was around
I
then,
think
yes.
It was right around there.
But Hatchet Vengeance number 3 didn't come out until early 2021.
Which happens sometimes with these series, right? Especially if they're
Yes.
based on, high-profile IPs and, maybe writers or artists leave.
In the meantime, though, they had Hatchet Halloween Tales number 1 and Hatchet Halloween Tales number 2. And this year, they are due to have Hatchet Halloween Tales number 3.
Okay, so
what I didn't know...
But that is different than this, then.
Then, yes, what I didn't know is that this was happening as well, which is Hatchet Unstoppable Horror, which supposedly released in the first week of July. So, to test this,
it's out.
I went to Arisco Pictures and I purchased this comic. And I paid to have it shipped out. It's going to cost me $22 to get my hands on the book, because the book itself was $15.
Was it in actual stores? Did you go to
I don't think so.
and try to
No,
find it?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And all of these are like $3.99, $3.99, $4.99, $3.99. So
it's a 32-page one-shot from what it says here. In description, a creature of pure rage and anger, Victor Crowley savagely defends his remote swamp home. Sounds about right. Teaching the true meaning of despair to interlopers of his domain before tearing them horribly asunder. But not only is Victor Crowley a hideous, murderous monster, he just won't die, as we'll see in these 3 unique stories. So it's gonna be like a little mini anthology of sorts, apparently. And these tales are not for the faint of heart. Revealed. Okay, so it's incredibly vague and got a few different. I don't know if.
But I have one that's on its way. So
Okay,
I'm gonna add it to
exciting.
this, and then what I'm gonna basically wait for is Halloween Tales number 3 that comes out in October, and then I will do a big 7 comic review, which will catch us up to date, because I've reviewed all the Hatchet comics up until these, and then once those next 2 are in my hot little hands, I will review them along with these 5, and we will be all up to date on Hatchet comic book reviews on the channel. So
Cool.
Lots of cool Hatchet coming in the near future. If you guys are interested in that, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not yet.
Nothing from Adam Green about a 5th movie, though?
No, thank God not
lately.
yet, because
you didn't like Victor Crowley very much.
No, it's not that. It's that
He's had issues with funding. In,
no,
like, the
no.
later
Hatchet
ones,
5
where-
plays in Dylan's New Nightmare.
Oh.
Remember?
It's been a minute since I've thought about that,
yes.
so I forgot.
So.
Oh. Now
and we can't say more than that. We
I
can't say more than that. And
remember.
anyone that's still watching up until this point that just listened to me say that,
I remember.
that is something that I don't know that I've reviewed on the channel before. So, yeah.
Well, there you go.
Feel free to latch onto that and let people know if you really want. But yes, that's why I'm hoping that a new Hatchet movie doesn't come out in the next 2 years. Because it's going to really fuck me up if it does. So, all right, guys.
Cool.
Thank you so much for watching. Fuego, last thoughts.
Well, I saw Ben Grimm ask if we were
Okay.
going to check out those Conjuring comics, because I remember
I have the
we did-
first 2 issues that have come out. It was supposed to. It was originally supposed to be a weekly.
prequel, right?
No, it was supposed to be weekly. Yes, and it's a prequel
to the latest film.
the most recent movie. It's the story of the girl whose story we find out the end of in The Conjuring 3. So it's like we already know where it's going. It's just how does it get there?
Bridges the gap.
Yeah,
a little bit.
basically,
Okay.
yeah. It tells what happened to the girl and her friends that they find in the gorge later in the movie. It's that story, and so like we know where it's going. 2 of the 5 issues have come out, so I'm guessing we're gonna get the rest over the course of the next 3 months. So we won't have a definitive thought on the Conjuring comic books until it's all said and done, which probably won't be until October or so. So yes, if you're interested,
Although that
stay
would
tuned
make
and we'll
sense.
talk about it then.
Yeah, then drop it in October and round it all out. So.
Probably so. So yes, guys, that's going to do it for this month's Horror Show News with Booze. Thank you so much for watching. We greatly appreciate your time. Thank you, Triborough. We do appreciate it. We try and produce good content. We had to take down the green screen, otherwise we would have gone with our more green screen setup. We'll be back to that next time. Basically what happened was one of my cats pissed on the green screen. And so I needed to clean it, and rehanging it and steaming out all the wrinkles took a really tremendous amount of time last time, and we just haven't had that time yet. So hopefully by next Sunday when we start to film again, we'll have the green screen wall back up, but That's why it's not there if you guys are curious.
Yeah, I saw Michael M.
Nice,
that,
concise 70-minute-ish episode. All right, fair enough.
Well, we had 12 stories. I mean, come on. And we always veer around a little bit.
Oh, we love you guys. Yeah. I appreciate a little bit of professional ribbing. So, thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate it very much. If you want to become a patron, the link is in the description box down below where you can tell us movies to react to watch. Also, we just finished the campaign for Dylan's New Nightmare, the Finishing Funds campaign. We met our goal, so the campaign is still available. It's in demand. We raised over $10,000, which means we've raised the original $40,000 that we wanted for the campaign. So yeah, we did what we wanted to do, and but the campaign is still open for anyone that wants to contribute. So not enough booze.
Yeah, I just saw that too. I'm like,
look, it's okay. There's reasons for it for this time, but we still had some booze, just not as much.
We'll
as
be
usual.
sloppier next month for you guys.
Indeed.
Hopefully, everything will be great. And I also do want to mention that on Tuesday, this upcoming Tuesday, August 3rd, not only do we have a brand new Stephen King book entitled Billy Summers that is going to be dropping, but that same day at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern is going to be the Book of the Month discussion about Black House, the sequel to The Talisman. So tune into that, and also next Sunday we will be returning for the discussion about everything we watched in July.
Wait, so you're doing both? You're doing your live book discussion and you're going to do
a
review
not the same
of Billy
day.
Summers? No,
Yeah.
but the next day?
If I can get it
You're
done.
not 2 days in a row? Okay.
If I can get it done, that's the hope. Yeah.
So you
yeah,
guys are going to
Billy
have
Summers
a little
will
extra
drop.
serving of Stephen King, of Hail to Stephen King this week.
Yeah, because Billy Summers releases basically the audio. The Audible is going to be available right at the stroke of midnight from Monday to Tuesday. I will be hopefully getting my physical copy, if not a day early, that day, so I can kind of cross, the contrast and so on. And then at whatever time on Wednesday I can get it finished, because I'm going to cruise as I always do.
And then not long after that, you can guarantee that you're going to see an update to Fuego's Stephen King tier list ranking, because now there are two books that we can add to the tier list. So it'll be at least a 10-minute episode, a 10-minute addendum.
Yeah.
Figure we can do that every 2 years, right? We'll do a little addendum for the Stephen King tier list every 2 years.
Although he already has another book coming out in it's either February or March.
But it's not this year, right?
It's not this year.
Okay, so yeah, that's fine. We will put that towards the next one.
The man is prolific, dude, and I'm very excited. So stay tuned for that and all of the other awesome content that this guy is coming at you all. So.
Well, thank you guys very much for watching. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias, Jaime, Fuego.
And remember,